everyone, I'm Caroline.
And I'm Phil.
But we're rather out of kilter here, aren't we?
You could tell I wasn't here when Caroline turned the camera on, so I'll just stay at this angle.
See if I can move my...
I'll just lean it. I tell you what, I can move
You
it.
come closer.
I'll come closer.
I don't smell.
I will move in. How's that, dear?
There we go, Phil's moved in.
Hello.
Well, how lovely to have you all joining us tonight. I can see it's busy over in the chat.
Yes, lots of things going on. I can see mention of pre-birthday something or other going on with Ribble Finds and Crafts, so happy birthday in that neck of the woods. And there's an anniversary, a ruby anniversary for Marilyn Lynn.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
And I saw up on the notification that Meryl has been busily cooking and they've been having a few bevies, and
very nice.
So they'll be very merry and happy tonight. And I noticed that Mike's in. Mike Sage, because I thought Mike wasn't with us tonight, but Mike's going to be possibly popping out, because I think in an hour he's at a gala.
Right. Bit of a do.
Memorial for
nice
80
time.
years, is it, of the D-Day? So
Right.
that's happening.
Sounds good.
So lots of things happening in lots of places.
Yes, right, but let's have a look who were the first three in.
Yes.
And first in tonight was, brace yourselves, it was Laura Sully Creations. Well done, first place.
Oh, well done.
Second in was Ribble Finds and Crafts. Well
There
done,
we
Steve.
go, there we go.
And in third place was Sunglasses Girl, Anne Goodwin. Well done, Anne.
There we go. Well, there we go. That's our first three in. But we've got 30 in. So our first three were the first three of 30. And I'm sure there'll be more coming along and joining us. Some will be popping in and out. We can see in the messages that people have got other commitments. That's brilliant that you're able to get on and join us for a few minutes here and there.
Yes, and thank you for letting us know that the sound and the video is okay now.
Yes.
It wasn't when I first pressed the button. I'm like, what have I done? Because when I turned this on, the camera wasn't working, the microphone wasn't working. I had to go right into the system, set it all up again, thought it was working, and then when I pressed go live and there was nothing there, like, oh no! But it's okay. It's fixed.
Right, there we are. So
Right,
we
so
are
there we are. Exactly,
all going.
there we are, and here we are. And
Indeed.
here you all are. So settle down. I hope you grabbed your snacks. I hope you've got whatever
I'm
you're
gonna.
having a drink of.
I'm gonna.
Poor Phil hasn't got any snacks. Mind you,
No.
Phil doesn't need any snacks today because we've eaten rather a lot.
I thought she was going to say because I'm putting on weight.
we both are. Phil's brother and his wife were down from Scotland and they took us out to a very posh breakfast this
Yeah, we
morning.
had breakfast at the Ivy in
We
Cardiff
did,
this
yeah,
morning,
very
which was
posh.
very nice indeed. Breakfast at the Ivy. I had an omelette.
Yes, you had omelette.
with granary toast.
And we're not going to tell everybody what I had because,
No,
It's-
because you had more than an omelette. Ha ha ha.
well, the full breakfast was a certain price. But then they'd had a breakfast special where you could have a green smoothie and a chocolate croissant and a croissant all thrown in.
But the waitress did tempt you in as much as I was saying, we'll go for it then, love. And she said yes, because you get 2 pastries, but they're only bite size, so they don't count.
Yes.
So there we go.
So I believed her. I really
So-
did, honestly.
The theory was that Caroline's croissant and chocolate croissant wouldn't have calories, whereas my brother had his meal. He had eggs and salmon and stuff, but in fairness to them, his second serving didn't have any calories
No.
because it didn't arrive.
So it was a lovely time though. It's very posh. I don't know if you've ever been to the Ivy. The toilets are dead posh. You should see them. They're all rose marble and the ceiling is covered in flowers. It's really
I understand
nice.
as well, because Mike's been to a few in Scotland and London, and he's saying they tend to theme them locally. So down with us, as you look in all the wallpaper
I'm
patterns,
going to go get something, may I?
you've got dragons and daffodils and such like. But then as you come in through the door in the Cardiff Ivy, up above the bar area, there is this huge dragon, massive thing, which is very impressive, shall we say, very impressive. But yeah, that was really nice. And we were out on Thursday as well with my brother and his wife and Mum. Mum's feeling a lot better at the moment, which is great. His mum hasn't been well for some time, but she's been through a few medical procedures. They're treating her for different ailments, and she's been in for one or two things, and she's come up fighting again, because Mum will be 90 in October. So she was out with us having a meal. She came out for a curry on Thursday. So that was great because Mum hasn't been feeling up to going out and about much of late, but that was really good as well. So nice to see the family. My brother's heading back up to Scotland now on Monday, but they'll be back again because they've got a little caravan that they've pitched just up outside Hay-on-Wye. But we haven't been to see it. Normally when they're down for a week, we'll go up and have a sit at the caravan. But we haven't gone on this occasion. They've come down to us because, as I'm sure many of you will know, the Hay Festival is on at the moment. So Hay-on-Wye, which is ordinarily quite a quiet area, it is popular with tourists. It's not quiet to the point of no one around, but it's relatively quiet compared to now, because at the moment with the Hay Festival on, it is literally the most famous book festival in the world, I think, and they have visitors from all around the world. They've had American presidents visit. They've got all manner of artists and famous people that show up, and it's a big do. So we have stayed down here because I doubt if we could even park if we went up at the moment, because my brother was going this evening into the Hay Festival, but as he said, it's about a 2-mile walk into Hay, and they'll probably walk it, because to try and take the car in would be an impossibility.
Right, into park and then have to walk from the furthest extent of the extended car park. It's just as easy to walk from where they stay.
Indeed.
Right,
it's a beautiful part of the world, as we have shared with you in the past, because if you haven't seen Hay, check out the videos, because we've definitely done one from, if not two, from Hay-on-Wye. Because we went to a very nice charity shop, we went to a very nice cafe, and we are on a woodland trail looking at wooden characters carved out of the trees.
Very pleasant.
All that's on the Hay video. Check it out.
Right.
Okay.
Should we have a question?
Yes.
Because
have you managed to get what was ever in your eye out of your idea? That's good. That's good.
Right. So I'm
have
going
a
to find
question.
my question.
Oh,
here we go.
Do we go in fast? Now, as you may have noticed when we're making videos, Caroline says quite often, I'm going to start a little pile by ear, and don't forget, folks, remind me it's by the twig. Well, due to Caroline's process of collecting finds, invariably some of those finds never make it to the house because they get left behind. And to my surprise, among the finds that got left behind was your poodle.
I know. How could have left my
I don't
poodle
know, but
behind?
he's not in any of the bags of finds in the garage anyway.
Hello, Javier.
So we seem to be poodleless. But
Yeah.
because the poodle, if you remember, it was a white poodle. It may not have been originally a white poodle because the china was white and maybe all the colourings come off in the ground. But there was a white poodle with a little basket, and Caroline found him. So therefore, that does enable me to ask a poodle-related question.
A poodle?
A puddle-related question, even.
Puddle?
Because the
Puddle of poodles?
Poodle is derived from puddle. And the reason for that is because the poodle breed is believed to have originated as a medieval duck hunting dog.
I didn't know you were going to go on from
You
duck.
have to be careful.
Medieval duck?
You know, it wasn't a medieval duck that was bred into a dog. They're not that good. But in the medieval times, they bred the poodle specifically for duck hunting.
There we go.
What I want to know is, in which country was it originally believed to have been bred for that purpose? Is it A, Germany, B, Italy, or C, France?
Go.
There we go. What do you think, folks? What do you think?
What was it? Germany, Italy, or France?
Germany, Italy, or France? A is Germany, B is Italy, C is France. This is from medieval, one of them places.
I know what I feel I should say, and I just get the feeling I've been lured in.
They bred these dogs because most dogs have been bred at the time for a specific purpose, and quite a number of dogs were bred related to forms of hunting. The spaniels used to be used to retrieve the birds when they were shooting, and that pheasants, because they had the soft jaw so they didn't damage the bird. And they've got pointer dogs, and they've got dogs that were bred that could go down holes, like they used to use Jack Russells and things, terriers. So they were all bred for different reasons, and sometimes there's a clue in the name. But they believe that the poodle was bred in medieval times for duck hunting. Where to? Let's have a look.
My sister had a Labradoodle. It was huge. It was just like a big fluffy ball of curls. Really nice dog. But
Right.
my grandcha had a black poodle called Sooty, who was lovely. And my auntie had a black poodle called Candy, who would eat you alive if it could get a hold of you. So I have mixed feelings about poodles. So do we have a winner?
We have a winner. Yes, we do. And we have a second place.
Always positive.
And we have a third place.
Right, so there we go. All podiums are covered. So
Yes. The answer, now, a lot of people seem to have been tempted in, as I think Caroline was, to France.
imagine the lady with her poodle and her
Now,
fawn
it's
hair.
strange because actually the poodle is described as the dog of France. Yet, peculiarly, there is not a breed of French poodle, but they are massive in France. They are very much associated with France, but their origins were in Germany. That's where they are believed to have been bred for the purpose of duck hunting in Germany. So you're looking for A. And as I look down, Bonnie Tyler fan 34 said A.
Well done, Bonnie Tyler fan.
Then there are a considerable number of C's and B's before we get to Rachel Bailey
Well done, Rachel.
with an A. And then we come down a little further to find Laura. Yep, it's Laura Sully's Creations
Well done, Laura.
with an A. And I will give a special mention
Special mention for...
to Jason S as the only other A that I can see on there.
Well done, Jason.
I'm always so cautious because
Impressive
when they're
with
close
only
together I can see them. When they're spaced out I don't. So I'm always worried I'm going to miss someone. If I've missed somebody, all of you yell at me.
So I'm not the only one who got caught out then.
No, there were only 4 correct answers. Predominantly they went for C. There was about as many B's as A's, but the 4 A's had it.
Right.
And as I say, first off, Bonnie Tyler fan 34, Rachel Bailey's getting on the podiums again this week, and Laura Sully's Creations.
Right, I think now we should go straight into a find.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, who's going to
But
do a
the
find? You're
thing
going to
is,
do a find?
I'll do a find first.
You do a find.
Can I show any
Yeah,
of
you
my
can
finds?
show
Right.
any of your finds, dear. And I will...
Do you remember we found a green bottle? It wasn't this green bottle.
No.
You may remember
That's
me
a
saying
previous
it was
find.
very large. This
This
is
is-
the one we found.
This is for comparison
Just turn
only.
it around. Yeah. That's the one we found. Look at the size on that.
It helps you to see, because we thought that was a good size. But I said to Caroline,
Oh, it's just lovely.
I popped down the shed and fetched this just to show the difference.
Oh,
You're
ding, ding.
talking 4 times the size, I think, as far as capacity.
And that's got nothing written on it, but this one does say, put my glasses on again, H&A Gilby, limited. Look at
Yes.
that, it's lovely font on that.
Be careful, there is a little drop of water in
Yep.
the bottom, so don't tip it on our computers.
You can see there's a little bit of rusty mark, where is it there? Which
It's
spoil
not
it a
too
little
bad.
bit, but it's not as bad as some of the ones we've had.
I found clear glass ones online. I found a brown one online, exactly the same, but I've not found a green one.
So I have the only green one.
But
I bet there are loads around.
green is a bit of a clue to what was in it. Because
any
there
guesses?
are other companies who produce alcohol and a particular spirit, gin. So that is probably a large gin
Possibly
bottle.
from a pub, do you think? Rather than
Might
from
be
a
to be
home.
that
Would,
large.
would any home have been able to afford a big bottle of gin like this?
I don't know, but it was certainly a large bottle of
But
gin.
was it that expensive? Because they always used to say, call it gin, mother's ruin, because the ladies always used to drink gin. It can't have been that expensive if people living on the streets were drinking gin. It was possibly one of the cheaper spirits.
But saying that, I
guess.
think it was because people were doing moonshine out the back of pubs.
All right.
And that's why people were going blind when they drank it and that sort of thing. This was properly brewed. These guys, it's what's their initials again? H&A?
H&A, yeah.
H&A Gilby. They started in 1857, but they began not brewing but importing, because they were importing wines particularly from the African Cape. And that's where they made the beginnings of the sort of business. Then they moved on into distilling spirits. So established 1857, went on to make spirits quite soon after they'd set up their business. And if I remember rightly, they were definitely based in London. And I'm trying to think, because I did read what street it was, and it's one of the famous streets in London. But they're a London-based company and quite big. We don't so much, I don't know, because I'm not much into my drinking gin. But I've heard of other companies, but I hadn't heard of those until I researched it, because I had to do the research to find out where it was from. Strangely enough as well, I said to Caroline, it was only when I edited the film that I noticed there was writing on the bottle. We were so excited about the size of the bottle, I didn't actually register or say at the time, I don't believe, that there was writing on it. What are we doing, dear?
Well, I thought I'd see if I could find a light, and I can't find one anywhere. So I found my blue light torch, but I don't think this is really going to work. Just to... No, it just looks like a mysterious blue... Oh, it's gone out again. It's not very well, this blue light.
What are you trying to do? Get the word into show, is it?
I don't know, just thought it might look nice.
You can see it. It's got a lovely script on it. Not unlike it's not unlike the script they used on Viral. No, on that side of thing.
Possibly at the same... Well, at least the same time. It could even be the same...
See, when you see...
It's not like that. Like it is nowadays. Usually there's like 3 or 4 companies at the top. And they're all joined to those, but... I think it's just probably a popular
script that was used back in the day.
Wait a minute, what was Viral made of? Was that?
Don't ask, it's in the question later. Do not ask things about Viral.
Don't answer me there, don't answer me.
Don't ask things about
Everybody's going on now, what was Viral made of?
Right then. So, do you want another question?
Let's have another question, yeah.
Right then. Thanks to the fact Caroline hasn't seen the questions, therefore didn't know what was coming up, I will jump to question number 4, which is, we found a Viral jar.
Surprise, surprise.
And Viral was promoted as the ideal fat food for children and invalids. That's what they used to write on the pottery ones. It was a preparation of what? A. Malted barley. B. Bone marrow, or C, seaweed.
Go.
Right, so which of those...
I know I want it to be, but I think I know what I'm going to go for. Where's it to? Yeah.
What do you think this was a preparation of? What was the main component of Viral, which was advertised as an ideal fat food for children? Can you imagine finding out an ideal fat food today?
Not many of us need fat foods.
No. Do you think it was made from A, malted barley, B, bone marrow, or C, seaweed? What are you going to go for, folks?
Interestingly enough, bone marrow is coming back in vogue in these really posh restaurants. It's the in thing now to have bone marrow and little bits of French toast to go with it and things. Like,
my mum used to make stew out of bones because she said that the goodness was in the marrow. So we'd have just bones off the butcher. And Mum would make stew with them for us and then give the bones to the dog.
There wasn't a lot left for the dog, no flavour or anything.
No, it just had the bones to chew on, just so no one...
And they probably had a bit of an onion flavour to them, which was even less palatable for a dog. Right, so do we have a winner?
I'm just having a look now. Ooh, hang on. Yes, we do. We do indeed. We've got all the answers.
There we go, good selection. Well, I got this one right. I knew what I wanted it to be because it would fit in with my theory, and it wasn't. But I knew that. I pretty much knew what it was.
And this time...
Give him the 3, though.
I do not have to search to find where the answers are because the first 3 answers are correct because it was a preparation of bone marrow. That's what it was. So... Number 1, top of the tree, Ed Creative.
Well done, Ed.
Second, with a B, is Lexi B.
Well done, Lexi.
And, taking another podium, Bonnie Tyler Fan, 34.
Well done, Bonnie Tyler Fan.
There we are. Ed, Lexi and Bonnie Tyler Fan, 34. You've got the gold, the silver and the bronze on this occasion. 3 in a row, first 3 answers in, all correct. Yeah, bone marrow. But I just couldn't get over the way, because they'd given up writing on the jars at this point, unless there was a label on the back, probably. But there are earlier white sort of porcelain clay,
We've got
pots.
one of those somewhere.
We have, but I'm not sure if it was viral or whether it was
No,
another
it was
stuff.
viral.
Was
We
it?
do have a ceramic viral.
And on it, it states ideal fat food for children and invalids. That's what it said. And it's a bone marrow preparation.
It said anything that was cheap is the in thing now and expensive. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, aye, that's always been the way. When you think about it, most of the foods that were eaten extensively were because of their low cost. And it comes down to things like seaweed. That was it. It was farmed by the people at the beach because it was inexpensive. Whereas now you go into restaurants and they got seaweed in the dish and it costs a fortune. And it's the same right across the world. And even when you think of curry in India, it was they were not wealthy people. It was an inexpensive thing to prepare. And you go into a curry house now and they're not inexpensive. So everything I think that was popular and, as Ed said, was commonplace is now expensive.
Yep.
And making a comeback.
Well, Meryl's got a viral jar.
Oh,
She treasures that one. They are lovely. I just love the writing on them.
Yeah, lovely script.
And the shape.
Nice
It's a
colour,
lovely
nice shape.
Everything about a viral jar is lovely.
There were a number of companies that realised that if you could let your jar be distinctive, then it jumped off the shelf and it advertised itself. Viral was one of them. Brill Cream was another. Shipham's paste. So much so, as I've said before, Shipham's were the first to create paste. They've been doing it since 1700 and odd.
Excuse me, meat paste, that is.
Meat
Not
paste,
wallpaper
yeah.
paste.
And all the companies that followed made jars that looked similar too, because the identification, Prince's was the exception.
Yeah.
But most of them decided we go with the flow because people recognise the shape of the jar and they pick up the paste. They recognise the shape of the jar and they go for it. So if other people, they knew what was familiar to them. And you see that so often in the old days with the way they produce things. Coca-Cola is the most famous. The bottle, because when they actually commissioned someone to make a Coca-Cola bottle, the remit that was given by the company was that people would know it was Coca-Cola and nothing else, even if the label had come off.
Which is true, isn't it? It's completely identifiable immediately.
Because when the bottles went in the chillers, they got wet and that, and sometimes the labels came off, and they wanted theirs to be identifiable without a label.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah,
that
and
was one
still
of
is.
the great successes.
Yeah, they came up with a design and it worked. Absolutely.
And Lexi said, was it Chipham's who did the grenade bottles or Peck? I can't remember, but I have one. Yes, we got one somewhere, but I can't remember what was in it.
Yeah.
I'll go with you then on Chipham's, I think. I don't think it was Peck, or was it
I'm
Peck?
not sure. It might have been Peck because Shipham's had their
Yeah,
standard
they
bottle.
never varied. So,
Yeah, I think the
it could be.
grenade bottles may have been Peck, now you mention it. Yeah, I think it was one of the alternative companies.
Right.
But we found one of those, didn't we, in a
We
river in Worcester, I think.
I can't remember now. We
I know.
found so many bottles over the years to try and
'Cause
remember the rivers.
I have a shocking memory, but when somebody says something randomly, it'll flash into my head. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I just get random thoughts.
Ooh,
me.
random thoughts. Now, that's
Filled with
interesting.
a random thoughts.
Right then, next I'm going to do some happy news.
Happy news.
Graduates get a great life lesson. The commencement speaker at a Massachusetts university turned the grey, rainy weather into a bright, sunshiny day when he announced a surprise gift for every graduating student. Robert Hale Jr., the founder and CEO of Granite Telecommunications, began the speech telling the crowd about his career, including losing $1 billion, nearly $1 billion nearly overnight, and urged them not to let failure define them, using his own life as an example of resilience and perseverance. Before the undergraduate degrees were handed out, Hale came forward and let the graduates know he had more than advice to offer them. That's good, you're thinking, isn't it? 2 large duffel bags were brought on stage by security and they were packed with envelopes full of cash. He then announced that each graduate who crossed the stage would be given 2 envelopes containing $1,000 in cash. The shot class of 24 was told that one envelope with $500, sorry, I'm in the pound mood, that an envelope with $500 was theirs to keep as a gift. They would also receive a second $500 envelope to give to someone in need or a charity or a cause close to them. He described that for him and his wife Karen, the greatest joys we've had in our life have been the gift of giving. These trying times have heightened the need for sharing, caring and giving. Hale concluded, our community and our world need our help now more than ever. Oh, now that's brilliant. You come along, you give your speech, and you give a bit more than a speech. And I think it's a case of putting your money where your mouth is as well. You know, as they say, talk is cheap, and somebody comes along and does that, and they really believe what they're saying, don't they? You don't do that lightly.
What's not in the write-up there, because obviously I have to edit it for the purposes of tonight because they are long stories, is that he'd received a prize from the university for philanthropy. Because as a very rich person, he had done so much for charity, they gave him the prize. So what he wanted to do was not just accept the prize, not just say, yes, I'm a philanthropist, not just tell stories, but as he said, he wanted to give them the experience of knowing that giving away $500 brings more joy than receiving $500. And he didn't do that by giving them $500 and said, now go give it away and you know you will be so happy. He said, no, you can keep this 500, give that 500 away. And he said, our life has taught us you will find more joy in giving that 500 to someone who needs it than actually receiving the 500 from me. I thought that was, as you say, what a practical lesson and what a life lesson. And what a truth, you know, it is absolutely true. Some of the best moments in my life haven't necessarily been giving away money, but just having the opportunity to make a difference in someone's life. I always say that in all of my ministry, one of my proudest moments was taking old Mrs. Allen on the Whitsun March in a wheelchair. Everyone was marching, the band was playing, and I'm bringing up the rear. There's a photograph somewhere of me pushing her way behind, trying to keep up and pushing this dear old lady in her 90s who said, I would love to go on the Whitsun March one more time. And that was one of all the things I've ever done, of all the ministry I've ever been, all the places I've ever gone, all the speeches I've ever made, being there with old Mrs. Allen, knowing the joy she was having from being there that day on a sunny Whitsun. And you can't beat it, and it is true. It's not just a cliche. It is more blessed to give than to receive. And that guy, as Caroline said, absolutely hit it on the nail. Put his money where his mouth was. But I can just imagine these 2 security men coming up with duffel bags full of money, and I'm thinking, what's going on here, like? But a very practical lesson for the class of 2024 at that university. Excellent.
But Ed was saying he's never heard of Peck. Now, I haven't heard of it spelled P-E-C-K, but I do like Peckham. I don't know if you've heard of that one, Ed. And it's P-E-K, and it's in a little round tin, and it's probably really bad for you.
Yeah, salty.
It's salty, but it's got
spices in it,
jelly, and a bit of just enough fat, so it's not really fatty or greasy. And oh no, Peck in a sandwich is really nice.
Yeah, I used to do 3 lots of sandwiches when we used to run coffee mornings. If there was one thing Caroline and I were famous for when it came to our years of ministry, it was food.
Surprise.
I reckon that the best way to minister to anyone is to feed them. And I used to do cheese and onion sandwiches, egg mayonnaise sandwiches, and Peckham sandwiches. Oh, yes. And Peckham was always a favourite.
First to go.
It was a kind of poor man's ham, I think.
Yeah, but I preferred it because tinned ham is different if you get it in any other form. But if you get it in a tin, it tends to be a little bit uneventful. But you put Peck in a tin. But it cuts thinly though, funnily enough. If you cut it thickly, it's not so nice. You need it thin.
Yeah. So we serve all our sandwiches.
Has anybody else eaten Peck ham? I think they call it pork and ham now or something. I don't know. Something like that. Has anybody else eaten tinned Peck? Ed said lots of jelly. Lexi said Peck is cheap from B&M. Have you tried it, Lexi? of all the meats, I do. Oh,
Ed.
see, wouldn't it be good if Peck was watching now and sent us 1 million tins of Peck? No, I don't mean that. I do not want 1 million tins of Peck.
No.
Where would I put them?
In fact, I think we may have a tin in the garage from years ago.
Yeah, we still haven't used it.
Because where my diet, at least at home, is virtually vegan, and out it's generally vegetarian. We haven't actually got to using it.
No, but I do like it.
But, yeah, lots of jelly. Ed remembers it.
Lexi Lane likes
cheap.
Peck.
Yeah. Yeah, he has got a flavour to it. Mind you, what I was shocked at was the re-emergence, talking everything about cheap foods, of luncheon meat. Yeah, because to be honest,
like
luncheon meat is just, it appears to be 50% fat and lard and stuff, but it's become a big thing. They do fritters of it in chip shops, and people were cooking it. Some posh hotel brought it in. Some big posh dining area place bringing in luncheon
Spam
meat.
are really over the moon that they go back in vogue. Spam
luncheon meat. And of course, spam was really big in the war, wasn't it? When you couldn't get meat, real meat then.
Oh, there you are. Meryl says Peck ham comes from 2 countries, Ireland and Poland. The best Peck comes from Poland, more meatier. My mother-in-law gave me this tip when we got married. Oh, right.
There we are.
I don't know where that was from, actually. I'll tell you what. You do your happy news, and I'll go and see if I can find that tin, and we'll find out where it's from. Started me now.
Right,
so
give me a happy news jingle. Okay, folks. Now, this piece of happy news is not one that I have researched, as per usual, but as has happened on previous occasion, this piece of happy news has been sent in by one of you. This has come from a viewer, and the viewer's name is Rachel Bailey. Sent me an email and drew my attention to a story that they had seen and felt might be appropriate to share tonight. And this says, a special meeting took place between 2 men earlier this year that has been nearly 25 years in the making. Retired Police Lieutenant Gene Eister said he never forgot the day he was called to investigate a case regarding a newborn baby being abandoned in a cardboard box. Responding officers took the baby to the hospital before contacting Eister, who was the sergeant in the department's major crimes unit at the time. According to the police department, Eister visited the baby boy in hospital, who affectionately became known as Baby Jesus, as he was found so close to Christmas. And he took with him a teddy bear that he had bought for the boy. The boy was eventually adopted by a new family, but Eister often wondered what happened to that little child. But he doesn't have to wonder anymore, after he received a call from Officer Josh Morgan in March, asking if he remembered investigating an abandoned baby case. The retired lieutenant said of course he did. Well, he's sitting next to me right now, Morgan told him. He is my rookie. The baby found at the Park Jefferson apartments had grown up and joined the very same police department that had helped rescue him. On March the 22nd, Eister was able to meet Stuart for the first time since he bought him the teddy bear. You're a little bit bigger now, he joked. And the men shook hands as Stuart thanked him for all he'd done when he was a baby. So I thought that was a very touching story. And
very nice.
In the email, Rachel made the note, also according to the video that accompanied the story, the retired officer had lost his own son only weeks before at 36 years of age.
Right.
So there we go, a very touching story of a young man. And again, I've edited it down, but Stuart was saying that he'll never know whether or not subconsciously being rescued by the police force at such an early age played a part in his desire to become a police officer and serve others. But the fact that they were able to meet each other and to meet the man who bought him the teddy bear all those years later, and when they met, of course, the one was now a retired officer, but he was a new rookie cop. So I thought that was a lovely story. So thank you so much, Rachel, for sending that in. And I hope everyone else has enjoyed hearing that story.
Lovely. Right,
So-
new hot off the press. The
That's-
alleged pack of peck is not. It's a tin of corned beef.
There was definitely a tin of peck up
I
there.
thought, oh, there's some peck there. No, it's corned beef. So
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure I went right through. We've got one cupboard in the garage that we keep all the excess. You know, if we got
It's like
if
a
we buy a few
larder.
tins of things.
It's our larder.
And that was in there. Man, it's corned beef.
Well,
So,
all I
so
can
they
say
were-
is at some point we must have used the peck or give it away.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was there for a long while.
Right, there was something in the
Next
chat.
time in Morrison's, I'll check whether it's from Poland or Ireland.
Oh, Hazlitt. People are talking about Hazlitt. I used to, when I was 15 and 16, I worked in the meat counter in the big shop called International in town. And there was sliced Hazlitt there, and there was loads of jelly in that. And I used to love putting that on a plate, putting hot chips on top so that all the jelly melted, and then mixing it all in with my chips. I loved Hazlitt. People used to say, do you know what's in that? And I said, I don't care. I just enjoyed it. It was really nice.
Ed saying his grandmother loved it and used to get it from Cardiff Indo Market. I heard they're revamping the Indo Market.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Don't
a good
do that,
idea.
don't do that.
No, I love it the way it is.
Yeah, it's been so... And Kim Martin saying, we make spam for breakfast sometimes. Yeah, there we go. Somebody else likes their spam.
I suppose it could be a bacon replacement. Well, eggs, and people have ham and eggs, don't they? So I suppose.
Oh, Lexi says it originates in Lincolnshire. Hazlitt.
Oh, there we go. I don't know where the word came from.
Yeah,
Do you know where the word
origin-
came from?
Tell you what, we found like info when we were living in Scotland, and that was haggis.
Yes, or we.
Yeah, we did. We found
People
quite a...
either seem to love or hate haggis.
A lot of people who eat haggis have never ate it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a thought, but at the end of the day, there's nothing in haggis that isn't in a sausage or
faggot
faggots
anything
or
else. Just a lot more
pies.
cereal. You know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
less gory things because there's less of it because they put oats and things in it. I love it.
Should we have another find?
We can, yeah. Let's have another find. I will show you
What have you found?
a jar.
Yes,
And
yes.
this jar on the bottom says, where's it to? That way up. See if I can show you. Is it going to focus? It's H.J. Heinz. So that looks like a pickle jar, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a sauce jar. It looks more like a
Yeah.
pickle jar. So I'm going for pickles. But interestingly enough, it's not a screw top. So I don't know what top. Maybe they had one of those crimped
Press
on
over,
metal
yeah.
ones. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, could have
On
been
it.
a crimp
I don't think they
over
put
lid.
a cork in it. I would have thought it's like a metal crimped over lid. But they're a really nice shape, as you can see.
Well, you can
So I
usually...
like those. They're really pretty.
We can usually identify, because we found lots and lots of jars while we were away, but the pickle ones are just got a bit more interest to them, haven't they? They got a bit more shape. Because I think you may have a couple more over there, actually.
Yeah, I've got one
Slightly
more.
smaller one, is there?
Yep.
Yeah. So you get... Because quite often we'll pick these up and we just say, it's probably a pickle jar.
Yeah.
It's probably a pickle jar. Because sometimes you get things like crunchy pickle written on them and things like that. and
Have
know
you
what
got to
are.
find?
Why?
Because I'm going to disappear again.
You will disappear, and I will show my finds. Right, here we go, folks. As you will remember, we found quite a few whole pots. Now, in transit and out of the ground, cracks have begun to appear in them, but as we said, they're still usable because what we use them for is put screwdrivers in them, put paintbrushes in them, stand anything in them really. They're just a very useful item and they look good. But of course, we found 3 I believe on this occasion, but I left the last one there for someone. But this one doesn't have anything on the bottom, which means according to this one, it's not genuine. You see, because it says not genuine unless bearing William Hartley's label. So there we go. But that one is genuine and that one is not genuine. But basically that's another company, and it was Hartley's started it all off and they wanted to make a point, so they just had that pressed in the base. So there we go, we got that and those. That's 2 of them.
I'm covered in everything. Something fell off the top shelf and landed on me. I pulled them with little fluffy balls, and they look, just to show you how pretty they look, these sort of things are just nice. You don't need to use them for anything practical. You just fill them with pretty things and put them on the side. So I have.
And that's another original one that I still haven't taken down to the shed from the studio that I showed you a couple of weeks ago that I found. So they are very useful. They're a good size. You could stand them in a row and you can have various different things, sort of things that will stick out the top.
Yes.
Say paintbrushes, things like that. Very
Yep.
handy for. So there we go. That's
Right.
my fact. Do you want another question?
Let's have another question. I can't find the question one thing.
Oh, we got it. There we go. Rightio. Now, a couple of you picked up on Caroline's description of a particular item when she said, "Is that shaving mug whole?" Ah, it's a whole half of a whole shaving mug. So, taking that as the link, I'm going to ask you a shaving related question. Because of course, shaving mugs were massive, shaving brushes, cutthroat razors, then we came on to the safety razors, and eventually some clever clogs came up with an electric razor. The electric razor was first invented by a German engineer. But in what year did he invent his electric razor? Was it A, 1915? Was it B, 1930? Or was it C, 1945?
Go. Oh, I didn't need anything underneath it, sort of wedges. There, look at that.
There we go. A creation of his
Oh,
own
have you
making.
ever seen such a wonderful looking cactus?
Alright then. Oh, they're coming in, they're coming in, they're coming in. Oh, ho, ho.
That was a bit short.
What are you thinking, folks? Electric razor, first invented by a German engineer. Do you think it was in 1915, 1930, or 1945?
Right, I know I'm going for. Let's have a look. I'm wrong.
But we've got all three answers
Oh, well, there we
represented.
go.
So some people have agreed with you and are mistaken.
Oh, good, I'm not the only one.
Other people disagreed with you and mistaken, and other people disagreed with you and are right. And I can tell you that the very first answer in was correct, and although Ed took the trouble to actually write the date rather than just use an A, he still got in first.
Oh, well done.
Yes, the advantage of being down the road. See, they're getting through fast.
Well done, Ed.
So it's 1915. Now, the first patented electric razor in the United States was 1930. But that was the first patent in the United States. The first invented electric razor was in 1915, and that was in Germany. So, Ed, you got the gold, and then we're looking for 1915 or A, and it's silver to Mike Sage.
Well done, Mike.
Oh, who's going to be next? Who's going to be next? Tina Thompson.
Well done, Tina.
There we go. Ed, Mike and Tina, you've got the answer correct. It was 1915, and there's a few others have got it as well. I'd say about half of you went 1915. I think sometimes people think 1915 was that a bit early
Yeah, I
for
thought
an
that. I'd go for
electrical
30s.
invention, and then they go the 30s. But as I say, first patent in America was in 1930, but 1915 was the first person to invent an electric razor.
So now you know.
No, you know, indeed you do, indeed you do. Right then, how's it going here? Any more? Somebody was saying they think that jar might have had relish in it, I think.
Hello, Linda.
Ed said, his confession time, I typed 19 before you gave the answers, and then he
Oh,
just
you
stuck in the one
naughty,
he
naughty
wanted.
boy.
He was halfway there, halfway there. Quite late, but got here before everyone left. Hello, Linda.
You just made you got 15 minutes left.
Oh, yes. We got
Thank you,
15
Dan.
minutes. We got a few more questions. And, of course, you haven't missed the ultimate question, which will come at the end of the evening, when Mankey, who is hiding in a jar at the moment, will cause mayhem. He will cause mayhem. He nearly caught me out this week. He nearly caught me out. Well, he nearly catches me out most weeks. I tell you what, he just gets everywhere. Considering I'm the responsible adult out on filming for Mankey, and I don't know where he is. Thought. I still don't know where he is. Right.
Just before we carry on, now I know a lot of you be eating chocolates and things. If you've got something you don't like, like you've eaten all the nice ones, or you've eaten all the nice biscuits out of your box of biscuits, if you swap them around with everybody, stick your hand up if you've got, say, some coconut biscuits, and somebody else can say, I like coconut, so we all get to eat all our snacks before we go home. So share nicely, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to go around. And if somebody doesn't have any snacks, pass them 1 or 2 snacks.
There we go.
And if you want to pass me anything chocolatey through the camera, just let me know and I'll wait ready, okay?
Here we go. Here's a find.
I love these jars.
Chunky.
They're meaty.
A good chunky jar that is useful. Nice colour, but also brings back memories of malt.
I never had malt.
Now, I was reading somewhere today and they were saying that through the 1950s it was really believed that a spoonful of malt extract helped children with their development growing, because of course people worried about a lack of nourishment and everything, which is probably why my granny always gave us a spoonful of malt and a spoonful of cod liver oil, because she hated us.
I just suffered the cod liver oil for the malt.
Yeah.
I imagine, is malt nice?
It was sweet. As I remember, it was a sweet taste.
I used to like treacle. Well, not so much treacle, golden syrup. Treacle was a bit too bitter and strong, but golden syrup, ooh, I like that.
But always, these type jars always remind me of malt. Anyone else out there used to take malt?
Well, malted milk biscuits are slightly different, isn't it?
They're cow biscuits, and they're the malted milk. We call them cow biscuits because they have a picture of a cow on the front. So.
Oh, malted milk, put some milk chocolate on it. Oh, wow. Have you tried the milk chocolate malted milk ones? They are lovely.
Well, from one extreme to another, from a large brown bottle to a small, perfectly formed little bottle. Because we picked up a few little bottles on this one. And this one, you see, it's rounded, but then it's got the flats here. So you can hold it like that for pouring. So it was obviously designed specifically for something, again possibly with the idea of recognition for the bottle, but also the fact that it is much easier to handle, because you can put your thumb and your fingers and you can pour very carefully with it. What was in it, I don't know. There's no indication whatsoever, but a nice neat little bottle, which as you can see I haven't quite cleaned as well as I should have. But that's the story of my life.
Talon said, can't go wrong with malt, so I take it as approval. Phyllis said, malted milkshakes with ice cream are extra rich. That does sound tasty. Meryl loved malt. And yeah, so there we go. I think generally people were quite happy with malt.
There we are.
Just you.
You've got... No, I just...
You don't like sweet things, or do you?
But no, I didn't mind the malt. It was cod liver oil. I ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't good. But at least they had the sense now to put it in rubber capsules and people eat, or plastic or whatever it is. They capsulate it now, don't they? Oh, that was bad. Worst thing my grandmother ever gave me? Slippery elm.
That sounds delicious.
It's supposed to settle your stomach, right? It don't settle your stomach, it makes you bad. It has got the most foul consistency ever. It's like granulated stuff in liquid and slime.
Granulated stuff in liquid and slime.
Yes.
You haven't done a very good job of selling it to me.
It's horrid. Slippery elm is exactly what it is. It just, still remember her giving it to me and making me bad. I tell you what, it used to be kill or cure with my granny's inventions, I'm sure. But she swore by it. And of course, Granny came from a time before National Health Service, from a time when you couldn't... Medicines were expensive and doctors cost money. And then in the 1940s, we got free prescriptions and we got free doctors and everything else. But they were already set in their ways. And they would come up with these potions and lotions that cured everything. Well, I can assure you, slippery elm don't cure anything. But we were still on the old malt. Malt was okay, but cod liver oil not good. not a good taste. You've got a couple of the small bottles your side, actually, dear.
I have a couple of little ones.
You've got one or two of the little bottles that we picked up.
Got one of these, which you can see is still a bit grubby inside.
Yeah,
that was a nice find. I don't know why. I just like them.
The problem with some of them is if the bits inside are stuck too tight, I don't have a brush small enough to get in
you
there.
get one thin enough to get in there.
No, I don't have
More
one.
like a stick. I've got this one. It's got this little mark of rust on it, but that's a nice one as well. This just reminds me of an apothecary jar, only a miniature size. Somebody's been at that with a ray gun.
You can see I've washed them because there's water in the bottom of all of them, so watch it over the
And
computer.
what I like about this one, I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera as I turn it, but the neck of it is wonky. I hold it like that. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I
All
can
of a
see
sudden
it
it
now,
goes
yeah.
wonky. Oh, I can't even hold it straight. If I turn it around like that without looking at my screen, perhaps it'll be better.
There's quite a few air bubbles in it as well.
Yeah.
It's an old bottle.
You know, it's got a lot of dingy type things on it. But
I think that's the one that came out of the hall I went down in. Remember I passed a few things out the hall? I think that little bottle was possibly in that hall.
It's very cute. So very cute, sweet little jars.
Yeah, Peggy Reed got ginger tea for their aching tummy. I got slippery elm. I would rather ginger tea, I'm sure.
Well, I've got
Just the
ginger
word-
tea bags I bought and tried,
Yeah.
and they're quite nice.
The word ginger and tea sounds a lot more than word slippery and elm.
Yes.
You get the feeling it was elm. They'd got a bit of tree, ground it up, put it into water, boiled it, and then fed it to children. It was poison.
Well, if you'd been good, your gran probably wouldn't have given you it. She probably thought, I love him now.
My gran, I loved my gran, but she used to have some bad habits. And one of the worst was she had a hard plastic brush and she used to brush our hair and it hurt because the spiky bits on it, the
Yeah, we
brushy
had one of
bits
them.
were sharp on the edge and it scratched your head.
Yeah, like a rake.
And you knew that when she finished, rather than say, right, I finished, she turned the brush over and tapped you on top of the head. And it hurt. But she always did it. She'd brush your hair and you'd be waiting and she'd go, took. And that was her signal, you can step aside because I've brushed your hair. She was a great old lady.
I know Lexi said, could it be worse, but you could have got syrup fix or prunes. I don't like prunes. I used to like syrup fix. I used to get it once a week and I thought it was quite nice.
When I was in school
Well, yeah,
dinners,
you're a lad.
when I was in school dinners, we used to have competitions. The boys would see who could eat the most prunes. And then you'd count it, because they used to give us prunes once a week and custard. And you'd know who'd had the most, because who had the most stones because all the girls didn't eat prunes. But all the boys thought it was brilliant to eat prunes. You'd eat like a dozen prunes. And you'd be
I
spitting
know
out
we
the
used to be sitting
stones.
next door to those boys during the afternoon. Ed said Caroline had something for stopping leaves in the gutter in her video recently. Could some of that be used to clean those bottles? Possibly. I'll disappear again and go and get it now, and we'll show you how practical that is going to be.
I don't think so. I think the neck on those bottles is so small that the problem I've got is I've got a small bottle cleaner, but where it's bent over at the end, the wire is bent and is still too thick. So I don't think it's going to go in. They're very tight.
So what do you reckon?
I don't.
Look at the size of that. It's as big as the bottle. So no, Ed, no, I can't use that. I'm going to use it. I'm making it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but it's a long thing to go in your gutter to stop the leaves going in, and I am going to turn it into a wreath.
We think that's what it is, but it's got a loop on each end,
Yep.
which is quite unusual. Oh, it's just been bent around. It's not a stab you, that's what it is. Yeah, but there we go.
Well, that's what it says on here anyway. What does it say now? Gutter shield. It's a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
So if you put it in and then no leaves can go to the bottom, so they blow away eventually.
Yes, stuff
And if it
bounces
did
on
get
top
dirty,
and
you
the
could
water
just
goes
slide it
through.
all out like a big brush and then poke it back in again and it'd be nice and clean.
Yeah, that was one of Caroline's freebies.
Yes, I do love a freebie.
Shall we have another question?
Let's have another question. If I can find it.
Now, one of the things that appeared on this week's video and has appeared on so many of our videos, it's not visual, it is sound, and that's birdsong. If there's one thing we love when we're in a forest searching the floor, it's the bird song, and it can get quite loud on times. And that's why we love to stop and just share it with you for a moment because it is beautiful. So I've got a bird song question. Because bird song has not only inspired some composers in their work, but has also been included in compositions.
Ooh.
And the earliest example of the sound of a bird in a musical notation goes back over 700 years to the 13th century. Which bird song was used all that time ago?
Now, before you ask the question, if I can just say, I know there's a discrepancy with the email, with the downloads and uploads, but somehow we have a few answers in already. So I'm going to go from after I say go, okay? Right then, so now ask the question and then
Okay.
I'll say go.
Yeah, people are answering, and
I know we haven't asked the question yet.
I haven't got the question
There's
yet.
nothing like being ahead of yourself, is there?
So, all right there, folks. So, which of these birds' song or sound was included in a musical notation over 700 years ago and believed to be the first ever time it was done? Was it A, a lark, B, a nightingale, or C, a cuckoo?
Go. We won't get the answers in now.
Ed's written
I'm not answering at all then.
He's written answers now. Ed's written. Here we go. They're coming in. What do you think,
here
there,
we
folks?
go.
If you think it's a lark, put A. If you think it's a nightingale, put B. If you think it's a cuckoo, put C.
What was the question again? I'm so busy
Over
laughing.
700 years ago was the first time that they know the sound of a bird was included in the notation of a musical piece.
Right. Okay.
Because we've had quite a few since where they will include the sound of a bird in the actual piece of music. And there's been recordings. But the first,
Right. What was the dates?
was it the bird? Was it a lark?
Oh.
Was it a nightingale? The date was the 13th century.
Oh, it's nearly
dear.
10 o'clock. I
The
can't
date-
help it.
You just chat amongst yourselves while I just explain to Caroline this question. So you want to know which bird sound was included in a 13th century
Okay.
song.
I get-
Was it the lark, that's A, nightingale, B, or cuckoo?
Okay, I know what I'm going for. Where's your answers to? Oh, all that, I got it wrong.
Right then, let's have a look.
Right.
Oh, Lark Rising was used in Coronation Street. Do you know what? I've had Lark Rising numerous times at funeral services that I've orchestrated and conducted. People choose Lark Rising as a song. And it's a beautiful piece of music. Beautiful piece of music there. Right then, let's have a look. We got to find out. Right, after Ed wrote answers now and Meryl whispered ha 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 ha, then we've got, let's have a look. We are looking for the answer cuckoo, which is C. So the first correct answer is Glenda Weiss.
Well done, Glenda.
Second, Dan Fetters.
Well done, Dan.
And third, got to scroll down a bit,
Do-do-do.
Ribble Fines and
Well
Crafts,
done, Ribble
who
Pines.
pipped
Pipped.
Mike Sage
Oh, nearly
to
right.
that third podium because they were neck and neck next door to each other there, and both going with C. And in fact, hang on.
Hang on, you haven't got it wrong again, have you?
No, I'm pretty sure of it. But immediately after Mike was Rachel, got a C, and after that was Faraway Portal, got a C. So we had 4 C's in a row, all fighting for that third podium. But Ribble Fines took it. So there we go.
But when you think about it, the cuckoo is the only instrument that I know of that they have in an orchestra to actually make, because I've heard pieces of music with a cuckoo sound written in, and they got a little piece of wood and they go cuckoo, cuckoo, don't they?
I
So
think it's because they could replicate the sound that they put it was something like the song was called The Coming of Spring, and it was written in the 13th century. So I think they sang the song, and then when they sang it, they put the sound. Somebody made the sound of the cuckoo as part of the song. So it was written into the notation. Sound of cuckoo was part of the song. Possibly it's been done from thousands of years before that, but nobody had actually written it down. So you can't actually say this was composed with the inclusion of the sound of a bird.
we've actually got, I'm suspicious that we got a cuckoo egg in the nest. We've got our because we're built on the edge of the hill, our conservatory floor is huge. It's got windows down to the bottom, and then you've got a flower bed down here with this big, huge heather plant in, and there's a nest in there. And the mother bird, she keeps flying away and then coming back because she has something to eat. I think the father bird's been killed or something. There's nobody bringing her any food. When she flies off, you can see that there's 3 proper blackbird coloured eggs, and one egg that's slightly bigger and more brownish. So I get the feeling that that is possibly a cuckoo's egg. So we'll keep an eye on the nest. But I know they're lovely sounding, but it's awful cruel, isn't it, what they do when they...
Nature,
poor mother
folks.
bird flying crazily to feed his big fat bird.
Nature can be so harsh sometimes. Thanks, Rita, for the suggestion on how to get the bottles clean. That's great.
What was that?
Put sand and soap mixed with water in the bottle and leave it on top of the washing machine when it's spinning so that it agitates the bottle. There we go. So thanks for that. That's great. Right.
Should we have that awful question?
Glenda said the only question that I got right. It's taking part that counts, but you got it right and you were there this time, kid. So now time is out. Hour is gone. We have to ask you, folks, our final question.
That's how we won't have the jingle.
We'll save the jingle time. We're going straight in. How many times did you see Monkey in this week's video? Did you see him A, 3 times, B, 4 times, or C, 5 times?
Go!
What do you think, folks? 3, 4, or 5? Or is someone going to tell me 9, or 12, or 16?
Ooh. Oh, there we go. Talon says it sounds like one. And Phyllis said cowbirds do that to other birds in the US. I've never heard of a cowbird. It's just cow, isn't it? A cowbird. Oh, there we go. Right then, so we got, here comes Ribble. 6 times, Ribble says.
Oh, well done, my God, done. You've just got to upset things, haven't you? You just got to do it.
My choice is anything Ribble says.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Look, I'm just having a look now. I'm checking mine against Ribble's.
Right, so
right.
Having a photo finish here. Phyllis checking his list against Ribble's list.
3, 4, 5.
I know who I'm going with. Phil has been known to miss out 1 or 2.
Right then. Let's have a look. Lots of times, Ed says. Yep. We've got lots of 3s. We've got lots of 4s. We've got a 6. So, folks, the prize tonight, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, goes to Ribble Finds and Crafts.
Oh, well then, Steve.
Because, Steve, you've got eyes like an hawk. I had 5. I had, in the intro, 012 in my pocket. Behind the jar at 404. 550 in the hole with me. 1457 in the tree. And 1710 in the tree behind me at the end. But
where did Steve see one?
Steve, I thought I'd edited it out, and when I played the video I thought, well, all it shows is his year. No one's going to count that, so I won't put it in. You should
have known Steve, he's good.
But in the intro, coming up, there's the year of Monkey just as the film switches from the thing.
Well
and
done,
Steve spotted it.
So yes, you definitely deserve gold,
so
silver,
you get
and bronze.
Gold, silver,
Excellent.
and bronze because, yeah, folks, if you go check it out, you're going to find right at the beginning, in the hole, there is a glimpse of him just as the camera goes off. But then at 012, 404, 550, 1457 and 1710, they're the 5 I had down. You are a legend, Steve. Yep. You take it all. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight.
Oh, yes, it's been great fun. Thank you all for joining us. And, of course, we're going to be here next week, same time, same place.
Indeed we
are.
are.
Don't forget to join us, and we'll see you all next time, Friday, for the premiere.
Yes, and the premiere this week will have
The same
the
thumbnail,
thumbnail that
week.
went up by mistake for last week's because I was so far ahead of myself. I had edited 2 videos and Caroline remembered the second and put up the thumbnail.
Oh my
so
God.
there's going to be bones, there's going to be bowls, and there's going to be another B as well. Bottles.
Okay, bottles.
Yeah, next week. So we'll see you then.
Yes,
But
but
until
until then,
then,
don't forget.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Can't go. We can't go. We're here forever. We're never going to leave you.
Bye.